If you own a business, you might be thinking at some point that you might want to sell the business, and maybe you're going to try to sell it to someone you already know. This is Brian Stevens with BuyBizUSA and the Legacy Venture Group. And here we say, when you sell a business, you share a legacy. And we want to give you some ideas and insights if you are in that position right now where you're thinking, hey, I want to save the money, not have to pay a broker or intermediary or get all that word out. I've got some people, maybe it's a competitor, maybe it's a supplier, maybe it's someone that works in your company, etc. And they say, hey, I'd love to own your business. Well, you're going to find there's a lot of people that would love to own your business, but are they really going to ever buy it? I find time and time again, I've got people that say, oh yeah, I've got this person and that person ready to buy my business, and it goes on for months and months, sometimes even years, and nothing ever gets done. So if you really are motivated, if you really want to get things done, the best thing to do is to work to keep your timelines right. We're going to share with a little bit about that. First of all, we're doing this following, or still maybe in the very end, since we have the Delta virus, some things going on, but there's value in every business. If you've got a business, there's got value to it, and finding what that value is, maybe even maximizing it, it's important. We're glad to share with you, help you, and do all the things we can to support our community of present and future business owners. But I warn you again, you can look at these articles in Forbes magazine, Exit Planning Institute, Biz, Buy, Sell, Even, etc. There's a lot of businesses that go on the market, more than half, probably 60, 70, 80%, and they just never sell. And there's a lot of different reasons. Sometimes people wait until things get critical in their lives, or they have unrealistic perspective and they've given a lot of difficulty. We want to get through all that. But I just want to encourage people to be prepared, be organized, get the facts, get the real information, and know what you're going to do. We're going to talk about the timeline and keeping people moving along. Well, there's lots of folks that would like to buy your business. Absolutely. You can sit at any one gathering and people go, oh, I love that business, whatever it is, from any industry, from service, retail, etc. A lot of people fancy that it's so easy. Most people don't realize how difficult it is for all of us to own our own business and get them running and becoming functioning. I own my own company. You own your own company if you're listening to this, most likely. But the reality is that very few are really ready, willing, and able. And that's what's required. They have to be ready to move forward. Yeah, someday I'd like to own your business. They have to be willing. Absolutely. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and able. They have to have the credit or the organization skills or the ability or the background or what have you. There's a lot of people that buy businesses outside of the community, people that you know, people expanding, synergizing, buying a similar business but a different industry. People leaving corporate America, leaving the veteran, the military, visa seekers from other countries, etc. But we're going to assume that you're now talking to somebody that you already know. Maybe they're already in the industry, your competitor from around the corner, or supplier, etc. One of the things I encourage people to start off doing is don't get the word out there and saying, hey, I think I'm getting out of business. A couple different things happen. Sometimes employees get a little concerned. Hey, what's going to happen to us? They get worried that they're going to be left behind when somebody takes over, when in turn, most people that buy a business are praying that the employees stick around, right? Especially in this day and age when it's hard to get employees. The customers maybe get a little hesitant. Maybe they'll go somewhere else if they think you're leaving, competitors, etc. I just want to say, get a non-disclosure out there. Don't be, just telling everybody I'm looking to get out. In general, that's a challenge. But on the other hand, maybe you're thinking of getting out and you've got a really cool employee that you think might be the right person, or you've got a good friend that's in the industry that's competing, and you go to her or him and say, hey, you thinking of getting out? But I just be careful about maintaining it, and then maintaining that information, because they're going to want to know a lot about your business. Have them sign a non-disclosure agreement. You can look one up online. You can ask us for one. You can reach out to BuyBizUSA, our website, and say, hey, Brian, can you give me a copy of one that we can actually use, or something we can do? Or even go to an attorney and say, hey, can you draft me up a non-disclosure agreement so that people aren't blabbing about the information or misusing my data and information? That's the last thing you need to do, okay? Keep confidentiality. Know the value of your business also. It's great to say, yeah, I'd like $1 bazillion for my business, but is that the reality? Have you heard properly when you listened to your accountant who said it's going to be worth $1 bazillion, and they're saying in a few years, if you keep up what you're growing, versus getting a real valuation? Accountants, some are valuation experts, many are not. and get an idea what you're talking about. When people say, hey, I hear these businesses are selling for 7 times earnings or what have you, really know what the earnings you're talking about, the numbers and the factors. Get the details, get the facts, go get a valuation for your business. And then pre-qualify it with an SBA loan, because it really helps. There's a lot more people that have 10 or 20% of some number, whatever that number is, than the actual number. How's it going to be financed? Look, it's great to say, well, I expect somebody to pay me all cash, but tell me what neighborhood you live in where 90% of the people pay all cash for their homes, or pay all cash for new cars that they buy, or even used cars for that matter. The reality is that most people are going to invest their money and leverage their investment. Even the multimillionaires are leveraging their investment when they're building their great empires. So if it's not SBA pre-qualified, you might have that uncomfortable conversation with somebody about how am I going to finance it? It's not all cash. And I know you don't want to be the financier of things, but in some cases, in many cases, that's the reality. Look, there's more than just what comes to mind when you're looking at the financials. Help everyone to see the value. It's not just in the numbers. It's partly in the numbers. It's got to be supported in the financial numbers, but you got to find ways that your business stands out from the competition and what's unique about your business, what's really cool about your business, the opportunities in the future. You can't really charge a lot for that future opportunity, because that future hard work is going to be what the new owner puts into it and gets out of it, but you can certainly talk about why it's poised well, how it stands out, what's unique about it. I'll just give you like one example. 2 identical businesses, or nearly identical, earning $1 million and netting $150,000, but the sales dropped over the last 5 years, and the other one, the sales are going up. And these things impact value. There's a lot of value drivers, but the positive ones, like this guy, look, hey, we've been growing over the last 5 years, is really, really important. Create a comprehensive business review and a teaser or an obscure business review, and stand out from all the fish in the sea, because there's a lot of business for sale. But I want to get to the next point, which is really keeping people on track, on time. You've got your friend, your competitor, your supplier that says, I want to buy your business. Let's get to an APA. An APA is an asset purchase agreement. Sometimes people want to throw out a memorandum of understanding or a letter of intent. Those often don't hold a lot of teeth, and you do a whole lot of work. And usually for smaller businesses, people are going to want to go to a purchase agreement. But get your legal opinions and go find your attorneys and find out what they're going to recommend in your area for your business. I like to work a lot of people with an asset purchase agreement. And I call it an APA, but there's a purchase agreement. And you need to know when you're talking with this person that you're wooing over there, or they're wooing you on buying your business, how much are we talking about? Let's get it in writing. Really, we're talking about $25 bazillion or whatever it is. Let's put that in writing. What are the terms? Do you as a seller have to hold some money back or perform anything? When are we talking about? Are we ready to sell this thing in the next 6 weeks or 2 weeks or 2 months, or is it a couple years out? When you put things in writing, it starts to clarify and finds out who's going to really buy, who's not going to buy. And really important, what are the contingencies? Those contingencies are those things that say, well, I got to get a loan, and I need to make sure the landlord's going to give me a reasonable lease. I need to make sure I hear what you're saying, but I want to verify through due diligence. That's fair. If it's a franchise, can I get approved by the franchisor? Or if they're from another country, can I get a visa, right? These are all important, very fair qualifications. Then you need to know what the timing is. And I think one of the most valuable assets to writing an asset purchase agreement is getting the things in writing, so it's not left to guesswork when I need to get there. So the buyer needs to provide a due diligence list. Okay, that's what DD stands for. So when they say, hey, I'm going to offer $500 million for your business, and I want to close the deal out in the next 8 weeks, so date whatever that is going forward, but here's what I need to do. So have them put in, hey, Mr. Buyer or Ms. Buyer, when will you give me the list of documents for due diligence? Quite often they can provide it to you immediately with a list. Hey, here's what I've got. But if not, say within 3 business days, you will get me a list for due diligence items. Then, seller, that's you in this case, when will you get those due diligence items back to the buyer? Right? They need to have a timeline where it begins to start. So if you don't have your data together, then they're like, well, how do I get started on this? So one of the things that I share with my other classes and presentations is get your stuff together well before you go to market. And that means your leases, your tax returns, your financials, your profit and loss statements, your contracts, all the documents, anything and everything you could think, put it all in one place, organize it. You can go online if you want and create an online account so that people can get it electronically, but you need to be in control. You need to protect it, but you need to organize it. Time kills deals. And when you're starting to look for, I can't find my lease or this agreement with the employer, what have you, it just wastes time and it throws everything off. And then once the prospective buyer gets all the due diligence items, they can begin to analyze the data and do their work. And they should find out how long they need, so they can call their accountant if they're going to use an accountant and say, hey, accountant, hey, are you available next week? I'm going to buy a business or looking to buy a business. I need to know if you're in town. Well, if your accountant's in Tahiti for the next month, they either need to find a new accountant or re-extend the due diligence time frame or figure out something around that. So they need to do a little research to know how long it's going to take. I have a lot of businesses that they do with this in a couple of weeks. Other businesses, they are complicated. They need months and months. Now, hopefully yours isn't going to be one of those ones that takes a long time frame, but it should be real specific. So look at this. Hey, buyer, you will get me a list and put this in the contract, within 3 business days after we sign and come to an agreement. Okay. And then seller, that's you. I'll get you all these things within 5 business days. Hopefully you have it right there. You can just email it all to them right away or hand them in presentation. Then the due diligence begins, the actual reading through. Hey, I need 2 weeks. My accountant's in. I've got all that, blah, 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 blah. You put in there, if they're going to get bank loans, when they start reaching the banks, do you really want them to wait till they've done due diligence? Imagine 3 days to them to request it, 5 days for you to get it back to them, 2 more weeks for them to review everything, la-di-da. All of a sudden, you've wasted a whole month. Well, they can start off right early on and reach out. And I say banks, you should have it pre-qualified. They should probably reach out to 2 to 3 different banks because some like banks, some like the different people, some don't like people, some don't like credit levels. They should date a couple different banks, my recommendation. When are you going to reach the landlord? Well, you might not want to talk to your landlord until you know that, they passed due diligence, but at some time you might just say, we're going to talk to the landlord at this particular time. If they're dealing with a franchise or a visa, when are they going to talk to the franchisor, or when are they going to talk to their immigration, or when are they going to send this package off to the visa? The more you put these things in specific dates and closing times, the better off you are. Give yourself a little breathing room at the end of each of these time frames. So if you need exactly 2 weeks, make it 2.5 weeks, but don't go a month or 2 months. Make it specific. You don't want to have both people signing extensions and all that sort of stuff if you don't need to. On the other hand, keep your time frames relatively tight with some breathing room at the end of each one of them that makes it reasonable but specific enough. And if you need to change things, you need to get the buyer and seller, both you and your potential client friend, to sign an extension saying, hey, we're both in agreement, because that can kill deals. If you become out of contract and you still work on this person, and then all of a sudden a month goes by and they aren't returning your call, you're out of contract, they have no obligation most likely. So, make sure that you're keeping the time frames really tight, organized, etc. Realize there's a whole process to buying and selling a business. These are just some of the highlights of the steps that we go through. There's probably 150 different steps that we go through as intermediaries when we're helping our clients. But again, I wrote this one as if you're trying to sell the business yourself. You've got all the stuff that you're going to go through as well. And if you're busy with your business and you're busy with your personal life, you realize that you're going to have to shell out some time, carve out some time where you can go through all the different steps. Okay, again, this is selling to someone you already know, and a few just tips on it. The key thing I wanted to really highlight here, I'm going to go back again, is make sure that you specify the timelines, the dollar amounts, all the facts, put it in an asset purchase agreement or something written out very, 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 very detailed. Okay, look, you can get a free business seller success guide. Woohoo, we love sharing our ideas. One of our 5 core values at Legacy is knowledge, always learning, always sharing, and we've got some new ideas, tips, and ideas that you might find useful and helpful. You can text us the word BuyBizUSA. That happens to also be our website name, BuyBizUSA, to the number 22828. If you don't like doing that, you want to reach out to us, you got some questions, you go to our website, BuyBizUSA.com. You'll find that you can reach us at biz@BuyBizUSA.com, or you can find our contact information there. You can even call us at 833-BUI-BIZ1. We love selling America's best business. We believe that when you sell a business, you share a legacy, and that's really important to us. We love the businesses where the seller really cares a lot of what happens to the business beyond just getting money after the sale. So that sizes up for us a lot of what we love doing. Make great things happen, turn your worthy dreams into valuable legacies. And if you're thinking about selling, start planning now and make great things happen. Take care. Bye-bye.